Hey everyone, how are you all doing? I hope you guys are okay out there. Another day in the house. I am going live once again. Um, but today we are talking about your skincare routine, which is something that we don't really talk about. This is an interactive session. So, actually, let me share this. This is an interactive session. So, ask away. I'd have really like 10-minute spiel of guidelines. Um, but yeah, other than that, it's easy. We're good to go. Hold on, let me just tweet really quick. Okay. We have some questions up. Also, okay, so at the very, very end, I am doing some acne consultations right now. I'm still peeling, by the way. I'm doing some acne consultations right now, and I am going to give one away to a viewer, listener, wherever you are. You do still have to be in the US, though. That is the only thing. Um, and so I will provide you the link to that at the very end, and we will be, yeah, someone is going to get free products and a month's worth of personalized time with me. So that should be cool. Anywho, um, how is everyone? Okay, let's talk about your skincare routine. I asked some questions on my Twitter yesterday about just very, very basic general skincare questions like how many products are needed in a routine, what's like the most skippable step of a skincare routine. What all did I ask? Let's take a look at my Twitter because I honestly don't even remember. um, and how long your product should last. So, let's just talk in general about the skincare routine for a minute. I think if you're following me, you probably have a skincare routine. I think it would be a safe assessment to say you're probably a person who, at the very minimum, has the basics. And if not, that's okay. We're going to talk about what those basics are in just a second. Um, Basically, when we are talking about skincare routines, more often than not, most people are just talking about the face area here. But for actually quite a few people who are maybe economical is a good word. Maybe people who are just a little bit more budget friendly, they are finding things that can be applied on the face and also to the rest of their body because, of course, skin is skin and it's our body's largest organ and it's everywhere. So, we also, there's some people who use the same products on their face and body. A lot of people, in particular, people who are a little bit more into skincare, they may have a separate routine for their face than their body. We'll talk about all of that. So for skincare routine, I asked how many steps people had, and I know not a long time ago, maybe a couple months ago, I was asking how long people took to do their skincare routine, and I was shocked by the answers. There was a lot of like more than 30-minute plus, and those people are very, very committed. I do not spend that long on my face every day. But we'll start with the first question. I was just like, how many products are required in a skincare routine? Now, this is product, this is not necessarily step, because not every step is necessarily going to be a different product. But I was just asking products in general, and the overwhelming response 46.4% of people responded five, and the second number was three. 34.4% of people responded three. And so the only options were three, five, seven, and nine. And so I was saying I was going to lie and say there's no right answer, but there is. So For me, your skincare routine should consist of 5 products. And those 5 products are your cleanser, your toner, your treatment serum. Sometimes it's a serum. Sometimes it can be like a acne med, a topical. Sometimes for some people, it can even be a mask. It does not always have to be a serum specifically. um, your moisturizer, and then some type of protection. And during the day, it's more often than not going to be a sunscreen. At night, it may be a occlusive or some type of antioxidant facial oil. So either way it goes, you're going to have those 5 products almost always, especially if you have some type of skincare issue. Um, there are some people who can get away with 4 products, but there are some people who don't tone. There are some brands who formulate their products to only work together. And when used together, their pH is properly balanced. They maybe don't necessarily need a toner, or they may not have a toner as part of their system, their skincare system, and that's totally fine as well. Um, and then at night as well, like you're not, some people just do not require a heavy occlusive or any type of facial oil. And so that is just something that would be skipped as well. So the right answer for most people with a type of problem or issue on their skin is going to be 5. There's also a good number of people who can get away with just using 4 products in their skincare routine. It is extremely rare for an adult to get away with any less than 4 products. The 3 product systems that you see out there, very, very fine for people who are going through puberty. I think when you are younger and you're trying to get a younger person to develop a skincare routine, a 3-step system is great. And then I think for a lot of people, for the overwhelming majority of people, anything more than 5 typically tends to be overkill. And especially more recently, there's a lot of research that comes out and says, people today experience contact dermatitis at a significantly higher rate than we ever had in the past. And we used to like straight up be putting formaldehyde on our faces, and the preservatives in skincare products used to be way worse, and nobody was reacting to that shit. Whereas now people are more likely to have a ton of reactions just because they're putting a lot of products on their face constantly. So I'm not a huge fan of like the Korean 12-step, 11-step routine. Like more often than not, that's just doing a little bit too much. And yeah, I kind of leave it at that. So first things first, in establishing your skincare routine, you just need a starting 5. Okay, it's like an NBA team. You just need a solid starting 5, and you are probably going to be good with that. There's going to be very rarely that you need to extend beyond 5 products. And then also, you have that starting 5, but you got to know how to coach them. Okay. You got to know when to use them, where to put them. All of this is important. And we're going to talk about this. I wasn't expecting to hop on here today with NBA metaphors, but it's working out. So, okay. The next question that I had was a follow-up, and it was, which product is not necessary in your routine? And the options that I gave were cleanser, toner, mask, or serum. And I honestly could have done more, but Twitter only gives you 4 options. So the answer overwhelmingly was mask, with 87.2% of respondents saying they felt like that wasn't necessary in their skincare routine. And I agree with that. I don't think most people need masking. With that being said, there is always an exception to the rule, and that exception tends to be with people who are experiencing acne. There are a lot of acne masks on the market, none of which are charcoal, by the way, none of which are peel off, none of which are sheet masks. None of those things would be anything I even actually consider to be a mask. Those would not be things that I recommended. for people with acne, but there are some special medicated treatment masks for acne that absolutely can like make or break a skincare routine and can clear acne at a significantly faster rate than just using maybe your starting five. So um, I will say that much. Also, people who maybe have significant wounds like burns, or maybe they had some type of invasive surgery. There's certain types of masks like colloidal oatmeal mask. People with rosacea as well can benefit from this, or eczema, like manuka honey mask. Those types of things are like super, super soothing, hydrating. But I guess in both instances or examples, you can see like the extreme nature your skin would need to be in for it to be really, really beneficial. Otherwise, it's more like a nice to have, I guess, but you can also achieve those same results without ever masking. Um, so I'm a person who thinks masking is kind of, or most of the time, is skippable unless you have like some really extreme skincare conditions. Um, Toner was like the second highest one, which I mean, mask was overwhelming, but toner was 6.3%. And I don't know. I don't wonder why people thought toner was something that could be skipped. Um, I'm, I don't know. Like, I use toner. I think toner is great. But like I said, there are some people who, or some brands who develop systems and, like the products are formulated to work together. So I guess if people are using systems, maybe they are not bigger or as big on toners. It could be a reason, but yeah, I thought that was pretty interesting. Serum was also third, which I guess if you're a certain age, you just absolutely don't need serums yet, I guess. But anyone maybe over like 25 probably has at least one serum in their routine. Um, all right, so my last question that I asked yesterday was how long should your products last when you are using them properly? And I wasn't asking for the expiration date, but the date that you should be empty, like from the date that you purchase and start using, like when should you basically run out? And 43.6% of people said 4 months or less, and 29.9 said 2 months or less, 23.3% said 6 months or less, and 3.1% said at least a year. Now, this one is a trick question because not all products have the same, not even shelf life, but if you're using them properly, they're going to kind of run out on kind of like a step stool. They're not going to all run out at the same time. Obviously, you have a bunch of different sizes. Cleansers come like anywhere between 6 to 8 ounces. Serums are like 1 ounce. So you obviously aren't going to keep them for as long. But I have a really good chart about this on my Instagram. And most cleansers, if you're using them properly, you should be done with a cleanser in about 2 months. If you're using that cleanser morning and night, and washing your face morning and night, using the proper amount, you should be done with your cleanser in 2 months. You should have to replace your cleanser every 2 months. But a lot of people have two cleansers. And if you're one of those people who has a morning cleanser, a night cleanser, then it's going to be closer to 3 to 4 months before you would run out. Um, Again, using the proper amount. If you have a cleanser that has a pump, you always want to do one full pump. Sometimes I have a lot of my clients come in. Sometimes they'll bring in their products when they come to their first appointment with me. And so what I'll have them do is be like, okay, tell me how you use this. And they'll describe it. And I'll be like, no, show me exactly how much you put in your hand. Like, I need to see you go through this. And a lot of times, even if it has a pump, I feel like people are always trying to cheat and like stretch and make it last. And they'll like do like a half a pump or a quarter of a pump. And that, like, there's no point in doing that. Just go ahead and give it the full pump, okay? If you have a cleanser or product with a pump, use one full pump of that. If you have a cleanser that has the pop cap, I don't know the proper term for it, but basically the ones without a pump, if you have to turn it over, you want to get a quarter size amount of cleanser. Creates a really, really good lather, especially if you have a creamier cleanser. The creamy cleansers, I think those tend to be the hardest to gauge for people. They don't know if they should be using less or if they should use more. But my rule of thumb is just use a quarter size if it's something that comes in like one of those pop caps. And make sure you're getting a good lather. When you're cleansing your face, so when you're cleansing your face, I feel like a lot of the commercials that I saw growing up were kind of like, bam. Like you never saw anything move beyond this. When you're cleansing your face, if you cleanse in the morning or after you shower, I recommend, especially if you're a woman or anyone who has tits, so you want to bring the product all the way down to the tits, okay? This is why you see some older people and they look okay for their age up here, and then it looks all leathery and scaly or whatever down here. It's because, like, this is like where everything stops. Everything stops right here. You want to wash, cleanse, bring it all the way down to the tits. You want to do the back of your neck. I literally, in all these videos I ever see people washing their face on YouTube, I never see anybody go back there. Your ears, also important. Clean the back of those, okay? So that's why I say you need a quarter size amount, because you need to be using that much to cleanse that full area, the face, the neck, and this is called the décolleté, okay, or the chest. So that is what you want to be cleansing, and it should take you, again, if you're using your cleanser morning and night, or the same cleanser, I should say, morning and night, you should be finished in about 2 months. If you are using a different cleanser for morning, a different cleanser for nighttime, you should be done in about 3 to 4 months, give or take. Toner. So toners tend to come in really large bottles. And this one is tricky because it's going to depend on how you apply. Some toners come in, again, like a little pop cap, and you apply it on a cotton round. Some come in as a spray. Some toners come in a, I don't know what this one is called, the have it in my bathroom, the Abagi toner. It's like you kind of press down, similar to like some nail polish remover, you like press down or whatever. Again, you're using a cotton round or something like that. I feel like for the ones that you use cotton rounds for, they tend to go a little bit quicker. Sometimes, again, we're not really sure how much to put on the cotton round. Toner, I feel personally like you could be the most generous with the toner. So that does go kind of quickly if you have kind of, they're larger bottles, but most people are running out of their toner in about 3 months time, or if with proper use, it should be gone completely in 3 months. Toners also don't have the longest shelf life, especially if it's a more hydrating or moisturizing toner. A lot of other toners, for acne, for example, contain high alcohol content, so it's naturally preserved a little bit better. But for the hydrating toners, the preservation isn't that high. And so toners, because there's so much water content, it's like a magnet for bacteria. And not saying that like your toner is just in there going bad, but of all the products that you're using, you probably want to make sure you're using your toner pretty frequently. Keeping a toner for a year, while it is probably good unopened for a year, like I don't think you should be holding on to a toner for that long. You also probably shouldn't be holding on to a toner for even like 6 months. You should probably be running out around 4 months time with proper use. I personally notice for myself, toners that are in spray bottles, I use those way quicker than anything that I need a cotton round for. And I think it's just because I get really carried away with the spraying. But that is something that I've noticed. Like if I have a toner with a spray, it typically does not last me like more than 2 months. And I've tried really hard to stretch it out, but I think I just maybe get a little overzealous with the spraying. Um, so yeah, so cleanser, 2 months if you're using the same cleanser night and day. If you're using different cleansers, 3 to 4 months. Toner, depends on the application. If you're using it with a cotton round, probably 3 months. If you're using a spray or a mist of some sort, it may go a little bit quicker or around the same time. Treatment serum. So serum is important, a good part of like for your skincare routine. But this is where I see a lot of people trying to go cheap because most serums are really, really expensive. And I think, especially in the last couple of years, I feel like with, Instagram and shelfies and all of that, people think it's better to have more serums. And so I think that's another reason people kind of go cheap on the serum because they want to have all these different bottles because it looks good for whatever reason. But for the overwhelming majority, you don't need a bunch of different serums. You can typically get one serum that is going to achieve your skincare goals, but it's not going to be like 20 or $30. Like, serums are pretty expensive because they're formulated in the concentration of the active ingredients are very active. They're formulated to penetrate the appropriate layers of the skin. And on top of that, depending on the brand, like years and years and years of research could have gone into it. So really, when it comes to serums, like a lot of times you're paying for the research, not so much of what it costs today, which is why I think The Ordinary has been such a huge or influential brand because they came out and they appeared to be very transparent. And they're like, oh, this thing only costs like $2 to make, so we're only going to charge you $6. But what they didn't tell you is that, it took someone 30 years to come up with a way of making that for $2. And so they made, like, the person who developed this research and spent all this time, they have their own product, and maybe that's why it cost $190 versus The Ordinary $6.80 or whatever. Anyway, I got off on a tangent, but all that to say, there almost always is going to be a one serum available for you out there. Always. It's just not going to be super affordable. That being said, serums tend to last about 6 months. So I'm using CE Ferulic as an example right now because I believe it's $190, and that's from SkinCeuticals. It comes in a dropper bottle, and you need about 4 drops for the entire face. If you have a really particularly big face, maybe 6 drops, but you never need more than 4 to 6 drops for anything that comes in a dropper bottle. Another thing I see some of my clients do is like, I'll be like, hey, how much serum do you use? And they'll like do it and they'll put the whole thing, like they'll drop it, like make it full, the full dropper size, and they'll put the whole thing in their hand. You only need 4 to 6 drops. I mean, you can also do the full dropper if you want to, but that's kind of wasting your product and it's going to run out a lot quicker. And if you're buying the one good serum that's $190, you probably don't want to be spending $190 every 3 months. It's meant for you to spend about $190 on that product twice a year. So serums, 4 to 6 drops. If it's a serum that has a pump, for example, I know I talk a lot about the Bliss Glow and Hydrate, which for this conversation, we're going to say it's a serum, but it's also pretty much like a moisturizer. Most other things with pump, okay, so like the PCA Skin Pigment Gel, that's 1 to 2 pumps. Anything with a pump, you usually need like 1 to 2 pumps. That little pump on the Bliss Glow and Hydrate is small, so I tell people if you use that one, 3 to 4 pumps maybe. But for the most part, anything with a pump, 1 to 2 pumps. If it's a serum and it has a little dropper, 4 to 6 drops. And that should last you very, very close to 6 months if you're using it properly. The other thing with serums is that not all serums are going to go all over the face. A lot of times with serums, in order for you to achieve the skincare results that you want, you should be spot treating. Um, Vitamin C serum, good serum to go all over the face. Acne treatment serums should only be going over acne. If you only have acne on your cheeks, don't waste the serum putting it here in places where the acne doesn't exist. So that's it. And then, okay, so cleanser, toner, serum. So 6 months on, around 6 months on the serum, sometimes a little less. And also depending on the size of the serum, most serums are 1 to 1.7 fluid ounces in size, and the concentration. So I would say for serums, you could get 4 to 6 months out of them, most of them. And then moisturizer. So I would say serums and moisturizers are most skincare brands' bread and butter. These are always a little bit more expensive than I like. Oh, I guess the serums make sense, but moisturizers sometimes are like, excuse me, sometimes serums are like, I mean, moisturizers are like $50. And again, moisturizers are probably never more or larger than like 2 ounces, like the professional skincare brand moisturizers. And I just feel like that's a lot of money for the small amount that we're getting. But there are some really good moisturizers out there that are totally worth it. And I continue to pay that $50, like every 2 months. Moisturizer, again, is something you need about a quarter size amount for here, top of the head, to the tits, back of the neck. So yeah, the moisturizer, and moisturizers come in a jar. They come in the bottle that you can squeeze. Some come with a bottle with a pump. It all depends. In my opinion, you can't really go wrong with any moisturizer. There are some that do you a little dirty, but for the most part, moisturizers are okay across the board. If you prefer to be economical, then I would highly, highly suggest looking into Polish Choice moisturizers. I think the Polish Choice moisturizer line is good and it's fairly priced. And actually, let's go to his page. He just got a deal with Miss Paula. So I'm about to find his link. If you guys want to get some moisturizers, you can visit this link and get it from Sean's page. Okay, let's keep the coins in the Black esthetician community. All right, so that's it. And the very last thing for the daytime is sunscreen. And sunscreen, if you're using enough of it every day, that should also be gone in about 2 months. Most people do not use enough, but about 2 months. If you actually, that depends on the size. So if your sunscreen is about 3 ounces in size, it'll be gone in about 2 months with proper use. If it is about 6 months, about 4 to 5 months. I mean, 6 ounces in size, about 4 to 5 months. And so I know a lot of the Neutrogena sunscreens tend to come a lot larger. Most recently, I've been using the Black Girl sunscreen, of course, and the PCA weightless protection sunscreen. And so those both are a little bit smaller, and those need to be repurchased about every 2.5 months. And I use sunscreen daily, so that explains that. It's going to be a little bit different for sprays. Again, I carry a Kula sunscreen, their spray sunscreen. That's usually what I use to reapply. And because I'm just reapplying like maybe twice a day, I can hold on to a spray sunscreen for a little bit longer. They also come in a larger size than most of my other cream sunscreens. So, yes, okay. I'm going to stop there and go scroll back up and get to some of these questions. Let's see. I'm reading through and trying to see if anyone has something more so routine related than product related right now. Is it possible to overhydrate? No. I don't think that's a thing that exists. You can definitely overexfoliate your skin, but it's rare that someone may overhydrate their skin. How would you describe the perfect routine for combo oily and sensitive skin that also has acne? Oh my God, that is just like a lot. Um, People with sensitive skin tend to need a more hydrating routine. But if you also have acne, people on their own tend to be using a lot of irritating products at the same time. So you would definitely need a consultation to know what works best for you. If you have sensitive skin, salicylic sometimes is not the best. It can exacerbate redness in the skin or sensitivity in the skin. Benzoyl peroxide also could be a little too harsh. So you would need to look for products that maybe contain mandelic acid or azelaic acid instead. Those tend to be a little bit more gentle. They also help with acne, but it maybe works a little bit slower. Also, sulfur is incredibly great for sensitive skin, in particular, sensitive skin with acne. So you can look for those things. Okay. What's the best way to incorporate different treatments? Like, should you alternate day to day or do blocks of products? What do you mean? Like, what kind of treatments? I'm going to come back to that one. Is a night cream sufficient to a facial oil? Um, yes, no. I will say you don't have to use a facial oil if you don't want to. Like a night cream is fine. I think facial oil is optional. A lot of people like facial oils for the glowy effect or for um, the smells. Most facial oils tend to be fragranced, and they smell pretty good. I'm a fan of the Caudalie facial oils myself, but you don't necessarily need a facial oil. A night cream would just be anything that's a heavier type of moisturizer to kind of lock in moisture throughout the night. And I think that first became popular because the air gets a little bit colder at night, no matter where you are. And so I think it definitely is more popular amongst the more seasoned among us. But yeah, you can. I think you can choose either or. You don't necessarily need both. I think it just depends on what you prefer. All right. Odette says, I do not have a routine. I literally just use water for my face. Due to sensitivity to fragrance and unknown ingredients, what is the best way to start from zero? I'm 38 with no acne and dry skin. Um, so I would start with probably with cream cleansers, and I can't tell you anything that won't have fragrance, unfortunately. There is a lot of natural fragrance that's included in products. Um, if you're sensitive to fragrance, I would say look at the product labels and just look for products that don't have like limonene. Those tend to be very, very irritating for people. But there's some other fragrances or oils that if you see them at the very, very end of your product list, you probably would be okay. But if you have no routine, I would start with maybe a cream cleanser or maybe oil cleansing, um, a moisturizing or hydrating toner, one that's going to be heavy in water content, very little alcohols, and a good vitamin C serum for the daytime, a good moisturizer, and sunscreen. And that would be your basic. And then at night, you could do the same thing, just no sunscreen, obviously, because we don't need it at nighttime. But yeah, I would say start there. All right. Is it okay to cleanse in the shower? I'm going to say no. I don't know what you're using, but for very few people it's going to be okay, but there's a couple of reasons why you don't want to. One, if you're using anything active, the heat and steam from the shower is going to heat and steam your face up. It could give you a false reaction. You could be thinking you're having a reaction to the product, but really you're using it outside of the conditions in which it's supposed to be used. It could also be like if you take really, really hot showers, that wouldn't be the ideal temperature in which to wash your face. So I don't recommend that as well. And yeah, that for the most part, I try to tell people not to clean their face in the shower. You could do it when you get out of the shower, or if you are using a medicated acne cream of some sort. Sometimes I tell people to apply it kind of sort of like a mask, shower, and rinse when you get off or when you get out the shower. But that's like a severe case by case basis. That would not be something I recommended for everyone. And yes, you should be doing your whole routine, top of the head down to the tits, down here, okay? Back of the neck, behind the ears. Sometimes if you have an exfoliating toner, you can take a pad and like wipe behind the ears. If your ears aren't super dirty, I don't know. But yes, that is technically what you should be doing. All right. Hey, Cynthia. Cynthia is one of my clients. Okay. You tried the drunk elephant and your skin did not agree with it, but you want the benefits of vitamin C. It could be the drunk elephant brand. I would look for, honestly, with vitamin C, start small and work your way up. So I don't know what the percentage is in the C Pharma, but for people who are not used to vitamin C, it could be very spicy in the beginning. And you also certainly, I saw a question like, what two ingredients do you not mix together? You probably do not want retinol and vitamin C on your face at the same time. Sometimes even like too much BHA and vitamin C, like vitamin C just does not play very well with a lot of other ingredients. So if it is not formulated with vitamin C, meaning it's not in the same bottle, you probably have to be very, very careful about layering. Otherwise, you can give yourself some reactions. And I actually would just advise against layering for that reason. But no retinol, no retinol and vitamin C. Benzoyl peroxide and prescriptions like tretinoin, Accutane, Retin-A, salicylic acid. Sometimes those do not play well together at all. And so you can give yourself some reactions from that. Also, for people who have been to the dermatologist for acne and they've gotten any type of oral prescription, that is why your dermatologist may recommend that you just use Cetaphil, because if you try to use any other actives while on prescriptions, you can make your skin situation worse. So you have to be very, very careful about what you're using. I just opened up my acne consultations, and there's a ton of people I'm not going to be able to help because they are taking prescriptions, and even in their routine that they've shared with me, their acne isn't getting much better, or they're not seeing good improvement because those ingredients don't work well with their prescription medication. And it's not always a prescription from the dermatologist. There's a lot of medications for anxiety and depression, for example, that can cause skincare issues. And at that point, you have to choose between, the way you look or your mental health, which I think your mental health is a little bit more important. So you have to be careful about those ingredients as well. Most times, if you're very forthright with a dermatologist, they're going to be able to explain this to you as well. Not every esthetician, unfortunately, is aware of what prescriptions may or may not work with certain skincare products. I kind of go out of my way for the extra training on that one there. So yeah, I kind of stay aware of those things and kind of know what you can and cannot use. But for the most part, you don't want to be kitchen cocktailing a bunch of different active ingredients just because you hear people talking about it, or because you've heard it may work for them, or even you see us estheticians talking about certain acids on Twitter or whatever, and you're like, oh, I gotta go get that. Like, it may work for us personally or a certain type of our client, but it's not going to work for everyone. That being said, sorry, a tangent again, but with vitamin C, you want to start small. So vitamin C is effective between 8 and 20%. You see anything higher than 20%, usually anything past 15%, honestly, is a little bit of marketing, and you just know that shit is not going to last you for a long time. Vitamin C is so unstable. Like, I find a new vitamin C like every 30 days. Like, I have to constantly go buy one, because outside of the CE ferulic, which is the holy grail, it doesn't last the time that it's supposed to last. It's always turning. So, yeah, start very low. 8 to 10% is a perfect amount to start with for anybody, and you can slowly build up over time. I have tweeted about, I'll post it in here. This brand, Ebonel, it's like super cheap, but I met them at the skincare show, I think 2 years ago now. This is, I know it's definitely less than $20, but it's also small. You can start there and just see how your skin adapts to it before propping up to a new one. Also, the Skin Script Vitamin C Green Tea. Now, that is a combination I really like. It's a good beginner vitamin C as well, and it's about $40 maybe. It might be a little bit less than $40. Um, so I would say start with something like that before you try to move up to something a little bit more expensive, because you do need to work up. Um, you need to get your skin used to vitamin C. I've noticed with a lot of people, it can be really spicy. Here's a good question. Is it possible to use too much hyaluronic acid? Uh, no, but it is possible to use it incorrectly. So hyaluronic acid is a humectant. It needs water to bind to. Otherwise, it's going to pull the water, the moisture out of your skin. So it's a humectant. It's supposed to draw moisture from the air into your skin. When it's applied on dry skin, it's going to pull, and there's no humidity in the air, it's going to pull the moisture out of your skin. So you want to make sure you're always applying hyaluronic acid on damp skin, and you want to be sure that you're using just a really well formulated hyaluronic acid. Um, there are some brands that mix between like low molecular weight and high molecular weight. And low molecular weight, while it can penetrate a little bit deeper, it's not statistically significant, but it can be more irritating to the skin. So a good solid hyaluronic acid typically is going to be like $30. I don't think you need to spend like more than that for hyaluronic acid. Now, if it has better delivery agents in it, maybe it has some vitamin E or something. I don't know. Hyaluronic and niacinamide are very popular combinations. Both are moisturizing. Neither one of those are exfoliants. This is a question I get almost every day. Hyaluronic acid, it has the word acid in it, but it's not an acid like glycolic acid or salicylic acid. It's just named that. Both of those are kind of more so moisturizing agents. So think of it that way. So yeah, in my opinion, you can't use too much hyaluronic acid, but it can be used improperly. And that's something that I see. Yes, girl, I can't wait till this is over. Eva. Tykira, I hope I pronounced that right. You said, I've been looking for a local esthetician. I found one, but their title is advanced esthetician, not a licensed one. Is there a huge difference? The titles depend on state. So most people don't say anything, any type of esthetician, unless they are licensed. You could be living in a state where like some scammers are getting away with something. I don't know. But for the most part, if anyone is calling themselves any type of esthetician, you can almost be assured that they are licensed. But it never hurts to double check because I know people be out here. But advanced esthetician probably means that you are probably means that like maybe they work in a medical office. Like if they're in like Washington State has master esthetician as a title, so there's regular like esthetician, licensed esthetician, and then master esthetician. It could be something similar to that, but I don't think that that means that they're not licensed. Okay. All right. Is anybody, where's everybody from? Really quickly, just right where you live while I look at more questions. I'm again shying away from products. Do, do, do. Hydrating toner is going to be any toner that's high in water content and hydrating or humectant properties. The alternative to hydrating toner is just going to be something super exfoliating, and you mentioned the Glow 2.0, and that's super exfoliating. That wouldn't be something. It definitely wouldn't be hydrating, and it's probably not even something I would recommend people to use daily. It could be used as almost like a spot treatment. That one is really spicy. Although I did hear that they kind of reformulated it a little bit because it was too much. But yeah. This live should be on my YouTube. All of them are on my YouTube channel. If you're a subscriber, you should be able to see it. And it'll save automatically. Okay. Most sunscreens are going to have alcohol in it, period. So I'm pretty sure it's fine. I think you're probably just seeing the word alcohol and thinking that it's bad. But there are good alcohols and there are bad alcohols, so it should be okay. Is achieving clear skin during puberty impossible? Not likely. No. But it just depends on where you are in puberty. It's not some things you need to let pass and give it a moment, but it's not impossible at all. All right, Brooklyn, Houston, Vegas. Where's Poconos? Fort Lauderdale, Virginia, Houston, Atlanta, Alabama, Indiana, St. Louis, New Mexico, Wisconsin, Baltimore, Bahamas, Pennsylvania. It's the Pocono Mountains. Never been there. I mean, I've been to Philly like once, but I've never been anywhere else. Actually, I may take that back. I might have flown into Philly one time and driven somewhere, but I don't know. All right, so let's see. I'm gonna post the link in here. Hold on a second. I'm gonna post 2 links in here. I take that back. For people who have skincare concerns, I think I'm supposed to be. I am. I'm supposed to be I'm recording my podcast right now. Hold on. It's my co-host telling me I gotta go. All right, so for people who have questions and they want their routine, like if you have some personalized questions that we cannot get to on this live, you can fill out that form. And for people who are in the US, I'm thinking of a number 1 through 100. Type your number, and the first person wins their acne consultation and all the products. I'm thinking of a number 1 through 100, and type that number out right now because I have to go. And I am going to have you reach out to me. I'm gonna give y'all until 6:21. If you're in the US, type out your number. You have to be in the US because remember, you're getting products. And unfortunately, not all these people, these products that I have, ship outside of the US. So you have to be in the US. It's the only requirement. We have 1 more minute. All right, you can only pick one. Y'all can't be putting in hella numbers. So let me look up. Let's see who just typed a number once. It's also for people with acne. Now Cynthia be coming to see me. Girl, you already got all the products. All right. 6:21. Okay, girl. Miss V.S. Lewis. Where you at, child? All right. So, reach out to me on email or message me if we're on YouTube. Message me your email address so I can link you what I need you to fill out, and we will go from there. Okay? So, one last time, I'm out of here for now, but if you guys have questions about your routine and you want to have a one-on-one chat with me, you need to fill out the form that I just posted a link to, and we can talk about it. We can go through whatever. Then it's a personalized one-on-one session. It's about 20 minutes. We can do it through FaceTime or Google Hangout. And everyone else, I don't have anything to offer you at this time. I'm sorry. Please, though, if you're following me on Twitter or even on Instagram, I have been retweeting and reposting people who are offering skincare consultations. You know, we're still under this pandemic, which is the fucking hater, but there are a lot of people offering consultations, all kinds of consultations. There are people who are selling products. I'm a really, really huge fan of Pure Beauty Bar in Cincinnati. I don't know. I've never met the woman who owns that, but she's like phenomenal with her brand. She has her own line. She specializes in both acne and hyperpigmentation. Black owned, if that's super important to you. So yeah, I've been like sharing her. She's doing virtual consultations. There's another woman, V Marie, I believe that's her name. Another black owned woman. She's based out of LA. She has her own acne line. So I'm always reposting. I'm always sharing people who are doing any type of virtual consultations and everything like that. You know, I really don't like doing these, but since I have nothing but time for the next 30 days, I will do these and offer them up. That link I shared is going to disappear tonight at midnight. So if you're interested, definitely hop on. And yeah, if you guys have any other questions, tweet me and all of that. Tomorrow we are going to have kind of an open question. So if you have product questions, that's tomorrow's live, which I believe is at 11 a.m. I'm not 100% on that. But any product questions or anything else, skincare related or not, you have life questions. I love giving terrible advice. So you can hit me up tomorrow on live and I will see you guys then. Everyone have a beautiful night. The form, sorry. Bam, right there again. That is the form, and yes, because this one you have to pay for. The other one I went through painstakingly and selected the people who that program qualified for. So yes, so VS Lewis, girl, contact me, okay? Give me your email address so we can connect. Everyone else, I hope you have a wonderful night. I'll see you tomorrow, maybe at 11 a.m., and we can kind of talk about whatever then. All right, you guys have a great night.